have read about Greenblatt, but learning a course from him, being at Chennai, is something which is unimaginable. So exposure to global knowledge. Students can choose relevant and appropriate material, can transcend the barriers of time and distance, and allows us to use creative online tools. And the next side, the other side of the coin is a bigger one. The digital divide, lack of devices, bandwidth, again the buzzword during this time, bandwidth issues. WhatsApp becomes the only connection for students at the remote level. That's still a concern. Lack of human interaction. Most of the objectives of learning talks about human interaction, learning social skills. uh, we want students to take part in sports, not that all students uh, should become Olympian or a Tendulkar or Dhoni. But then certain things which is not learned in the classroom can be learned in the playground, to win and lose as a team, more importantly. So lack of face-to-face interaction, student teacher rapport, all this is still a question mark. Lack of self-discipline. Indian students mostly need the extrinsic motivation to complete a task. Online courses require a lot of self-discipline. Nobody is going to question you if you enroll, pay the fee, you don't complete the course, nobody is going to question you. So you need lot of self-discipline, which is a challenge in the Indian classroom condition. Teaching is confined only to the syllabus. Yeah. Mm. I'm conducting online classes for my students, and even I could see that we can't move beyond the syllabus, because we are going to make them exam ready. Already we are in a nation where there is test based and test bias instruction is found. Uh, we train students for testing, and you know what happens, there is too much importance to quantity than quality. So teaching is confined to testing already, and online classes is also confined only to syllabus alone. The other life skills, cannot be incorporated as of now, I would say. Maybe we should find dynamic ways to incorporate all that in future. Credibility of evaluation and assessment. I'm always skeptical about the assessment system, when it comes to the literature studies, which I'm part of. No, without reading a novel, a single text, a student can complete UG, PG, MPhil, and even PhD. And also even UGC NET and SET. I always think of this example. A student reads 100 novels, and then there is another student who reads a short summary of 500 novels. The second person stands to gain more in the UGC NET examination. I'm not against the idea of UGC NET, yet we have to look for some changes, at least incorporating a negative marking or things of that kind into the fold. Yes, does teaching reflect, testing reflect what is taught and what is learned, is a question. And credibility of evaluation and assessment. This morning I was invigilating two sessions of pre-final exams for my students, where they are supposed to keep their webcams open, and we are supposed to invigilate them for 20 or 45 minutes. And okay, somehow we did it. I do not know how effective it was. We did it. And we must think of more dynamic and effective tools, uh, incorporating what you call the open book tests, or even without monitoring and invigilating, you give a quality question paper and make them write. That is more pertinent at this point of time. An increase in screen time of students. Already we complain about students screen time and page time going down. That is one. Okay, this slide, this picture, who's India, I credit this to one of the discourses we had in the cafeteria. When we talk about the future of education, when we spoke about the future of education, my colleague who is also here as a participant, Professor Sudhir Kumar, who reminded me of this thing. You remember Indian jersey now, and it said Baiju's India. It reads like Baiju owns India. Why I'm talking about this now, 1068 crores Baiju's has paid to BCCI to have this name in the Indian cricket team's jersey for the next 5 years, only by commodifying education. Maybe it's a strong statement, yet that's the truth. So yes, it means business, it means business. The next slide would prove that to you. Next slide, ma'am. Yeah. According to the studies conducted by KPMG and Google, online course enrollments in 2016 is 1.6 million. Projected enrollment, is 9.6. The amount, the dollars they make, 246 million to 1.96 billion. So what is our role now? What is our role now is the question. Any education which is commodified is compromised, no doubt about that. Commercialized education is compromised education. So what are we supposed to do? Next slide please. Next slide. Yeah. To really mean business, that is the business where monetary benefits are involved. To really mean business, collaboration among various stakeholders of education, need for collaboration in creating online learning tools. Why? If educational institutions and teachers, if we are not taking online education seriously, it would be a big business in future. I'm sorry to say that whenever teaching fraternity fail, business firms take the upper hand. For example, English language teaching skills, competitive exam preparations, soft skill preparation, computing skills. All these, we have so many firms which sometimes cheat students. They give a attractive packaging or an advertisements. And pathetic when teaching mainstream educational institutions, they outsource soft skill training or personality development or whatever English language skills. There will be an English department active in the college, yet we outsource to some institute to come and teach. And at that point of time, I really think if students are asked to pay for mainstream education, and then for the sake of acquiring certain job skills, they have to pay extra, then what is the role of mainstream education? So it is more important. We must, as teaching fraternity, we must take online education seriously, looking at all the challenges. We should collaborate with different stakeholders to create locally appropriate modules than to create than to copy or blindly using the Western pedagogical tools or tools created by others which wouldn't fit to our own students. We should be able to create bespoke materials, bridge the gap between theory and practice, bridge the dichotomy between teaching and testing, because we have the call to make education great again. Education must surely mean education. No, I just mentioned this. No, during Holocaust, mother stopped her child from going to school. The headmaster wrote to the mother, "Why did you stop?" And the mother wrote, "All those who kill people, the people who create poisonous injections, dynamites, are all educated people. If education is all about that, I don't need that education for my child." We should not go into such a situation. We must revisit. We have that kind of mandate on us to make education great again. Bridge the gap between dichotomy. Bridge the dichotomy between teaching and testing. Continuous professional development. It is not extrinsic. It is not forced by the management or the mandate made by the government. If mandate becomes the mandatory becomes the mandate, it's meaningless. I have a story for this as well, but then a want of time I skip. And finally, we should make a difference. How to make a difference? What is the difference? The next slide would help us to understand what that is. Yeah. Here you find different posters of the movies on the historical event Titanic. I thought of this. I acknowledge Professor Ilango, my teacher. He made a mention of the significance of James Cameron's Titanic in one of my classes. That made me think on these lines. There were many versions of the Titanic, but what the world knows is the one you find the bottom left corner, directed by James Cameron, starring Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio, Jack and Rose, as we all know. What made Cameron's Titanic different from others? is the presence of the human aspect. That is the difference which we are called to make, because every audience, they know the ship is going to sink, whereas here the concentration is on the sinking love within the sinking ship. That made it universal. Something which happened in Atlantic Ocean is relatable to place near Andipati, near Madurai, is because of the love which is present there, the dignity of the captain, the role of musicians, their responsibility during disaster. Now we see during disaster how different groups of people, we keep the machinery running. That's the human aspect you find. We must add that human element into our teaching. We need, often, my guide used to tell me that no technology can replace teachers, whereas teachers who don't use technology will be replaced by teachers who use technology. No technology can replace teachers. Only teachers who use technology will replace teachers who don't use technology. We should have that human aspect there, the interaction, because education is life in itself. I quote John Dewey again. So that's what we learn. That's the difference we are going to make. Next slide. Next slide. Yeah, the watchwords. We have come to the end. Again, John Dewey, if we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, we rob them of a tomorrow. If we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, make difference, collaborate with different stakeholders. We must create students for the future. How can we teach with the past? We must collaborate together to find out effective ways to achieve such progress. And this is from one of my favorite hymns. It only takes the spark to get a fire going, and soon all those around can warm up in the glowing. It only takes a spark. I believe that this session would be a small spark. I know it's not a scholarly presentation or a new idea altogether, but then it's just revisiting our own stand and refocusing our goal towards productive, effective education in future. It only takes a spark to get the fire burning. Is something which we have to learn. So with one story I complete, just 2 minutes. A teacher whose par excellence is above all was staying with students in a hostel, and every night the students see the light is always there, and he works, he reads, he writes. And students went to him on a particular day and asked him, why, sir, we all like your classes, you are the best, and why do you toil this hard every day and night? And then he replied, I don't want my students to drink from a stagnant pond. Rather, I want my students to drink from running waters. I don't want to make my students read from stagnant pond, drink from a stagnant pond, whereas I want them to drink waters where there is a clear stream, running waters, which focuses on continuous professional development. It only takes a spark to get the fire burning. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Jay, sir, we are spellbound and we are awestruck.
Okay.
No words to express on your scholarship on this particular topic, sir. And truly, it's a clarion call for us, the teachers. And one thing I must strongly appreciate on your beginning of this speech, the way that you connected your keyword of the topic, that is collaboration, with the ideas of the speakers of all those 5 days, beginning from Professor Subramanian sir to yesterday's speaker, Dr. Son covered. It is highly notable. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
It's already 5:20. I don't want to take much time, so we shall move on to question session quickly. Now I request Dr. Sophia, IQAC member, to moderate the question and answer session.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am. The real challenge.
Yes, of course. We can able to see a substantial amount of questions pouring in chat box, sir.
Okay.
Some of here are from Dr. B. Bala S. Devi.
Okay.
She's asking, can there ever be a common foolproof academic system considering how fluid the requirements are changing from place to place and time to time, and what decides its credibility, and how is the outcome to be measured?
Okay. Yeah. Is there a common foolproof academic?
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Idealism is something which is a distant dream. What I would say is we don't find to make the available situation into an ideal situation, converting limitations into resources. Like I mentioned, cricket watching movie is considered a diversion from learning. It's considered a limitation, yet we would see ways to make to teach science or English language skills or whatever it is. Likewise, I would say we should see one step at a time. What is more dangerous is that there is no foolproof system. The system is a failure, and we also love to be part of it. That is dangerous. Just because this way ahead, it's one step at a time. It starts from an individual. Idealism, what is ideal to someone is not ideal to me, but to develop a foolproof system in the near future, which will not be possible at any point of time, but it starts from an individual. We should do away with that negative mindset. Nothing is good. What am I to do here? I'll work for 30 years. I'll get retired. No, we'll do something. Cine stars are in a podium where they can reach millions and millions of audience, and they say something sometimes which is good, sometimes it is bad, which influences the life of students. We have a little amount of audience within a smaller spectrum called the classroom, and one teacher know how much difference we can make in a student's life in terms of satisfaction and success. So ideal system is a distant dream. Ideal me is possible in the with sincere efforts.
Okay, sir. Shall we move to second question?
Yeah, that.
Okay. This question is from Raja Sharkar.
Okay.
As per some of the senior professors, PPT presentation method of teaching ends up distracting students, and they prefer chalk and talk method. What's
Okay.
your opinion regarding the same?
Okay, thank you for this question. Let me acknowledge one thing. No, from my experience, I belong to that old school teaching. No, chalk and talk, and this is my third PPT presentation in the whole of my life. And wherever I deliver lectures, I don't use it. Lately, I understood that's more important. That's more important. Even at this point of time where we have digital discourse, that's really important to have like a guideline to maintain to stop us from diverting. Mostly for speakers like me, we tend to get diverted from the topic, and this really helps me. After my PhD presentation, I tried this in one of the presentations where I started speaking, and after the end of my presentation where I was asked to have a PPT, the listeners asked me, so you have only one slide? I said, no, I have close to 15, 16 slides. I forgot flipping the next slides. That poor PPT skills I have. Thanks to this platform, I was able to use PPT, and thanks to professor for changing the flipping the slides. Yeah, I would say that's just a pointer. What we speak must complement there. It's just a signpost. Putting everything there and making it as a reading material, I don't agree with that. You have a pointer which is 20%, 80% is done with the speaking. That's what I believe. Maybe people would differ from me. I do not know. It gives me 20% and I speak based on that. That's what I think. That's the way to maintain connect with the audience, or else you find people clicking pictures quite often and they don't listen to people speaking. Maybe people would differ from me. This is my opinion. Yeah.
So,
The next
Sophia,
question.
sorry for the disturbance, and take two more questions. Now it is already 5:30.
Okay, so next question is from Anita Mutkanna. She's asking now government is thinking to bring online education policy. Is it good for students and society? I think teaching learning is not the formality, it is a culturalization of personality too.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
think about it, sir?
Yeah, we have challenges. That's what we discussed in the last couple of slides. There was an interesting article one by the present principal of Madras Christian College on online learning only for the connected, or who's disconnected remains underprivileged. And there are serious questions to be asked. Yet, online education is the future, no doubt about it. Flipped classroom ideology is just helping the cause. See, I tell you, in EDX platform, during COVID lockdown, uh, in every other course, you find thousands and thousands of students enrolling it. You can take the course, the knowledge without paying fee. But if you need a certificate, you have to pay the registration fee. And I don't think out of the 3,000, 4,000, not even 300 would complete the course. People who has money with over ambitious uh, dreams, they enroll and they give up. Yet we have to uh, look into those challenges, how to reach the digitally divided India, how to reach, how to make human interaction possible. Yes, there is one students who are reticent in the class, they ask questions using the chat option, which is a good thing, but that is more mechanical. We have to make it more lively, and human interface is more important. I do not know how, because it's moving towards quantity, rush towards quantity is there. We do not know how much we can make it effective in terms of social interaction, owning humanitarian skills and all those things. That's what we have to take it as a mandate. That's the clarion call, or else people will make money out of it, no doubt.
Okay, sir. The next question was asked by two participants, Sujata Acharya and Bharathi AV. Can we adopt this collaborate learning when we are proceeding towards online teaching? Is it possible to monitor and guide our students in this project? Don't they require personal and physical guidance?
Yeah, it's both. There was a Macmillan webinar on collaborative writing, where a whole class together they write work, an undergraduate class, and teacher anytime she steps into the document and makes corrections and suggestions, which is beyond the limit of our normal teaching learning process, which is not possible in our uh, regular conventional classroom conditions. It is possible only because of the online interaction available. There it's collaborative writing. People together, they write a story or a review of a book, and now and then teacher enters using the red hyperlink, she makes corrections, and other students also correct when the second sentence is written by the third student. He makes corrections on the previous sentences, and also tells the student why it is right and wrong and all that. However, yeah, it has its own advantages. Yet, can we take it to all the stakeholders? That's the question. Yeah.
Thank
Sir,
you.
one more question, or shall we answer?
Yes, please. Take the final question.
Yeah.
Okay, this question is from Mintu Bhattacharya.
Okay.
She's asking how collaboration is going to be in shape for educational institutions in post-Vivid era.
Post-COVID, I understand it's post-COVID. Yeah.
Post-COVID era.
Yeah, any era for that matter, collaboration is the future. Without when we work in isolation, no, nothing would be productive. We teach something and we do not know where it is used. Teachers, students, if they start asking, just imagine in the class when we introduce a subject, they ask, what is the living significance of this course in my life? And we have to collaborate some real life things there, and for which we need expertise from different dimensions of stakeholders and also colleagues. For example, functional English books in different colleges, know they are into ESP, English for specific purposes. They collaborate with the teachers of physics or teachers of chemistry in bringing out a book for physics or chemistry students, which is to teach functional English. And I remember, Dr. Rajshekhar, who's the second chairman of Baba Atomic Research Center. His guide is none other than Dr. Homi Baba himself. He did his PUC or intermediate and undergraduate studies from the American college. When he addressed the students during Baba's 100th year centenary celebrations during 2009, I was a third year student then. He said that the idea of becoming a scientist came to him not because of physics teachers. They taught him the knowledge, but it was because of one Professor Franklin Jacob, the former professor of American College Department of English, who used to take reading comprehensions from the biographies of scientists like Galileo Galilei or Einstein or Newton during the 1950s. So reading those in the classroom inspired him, and coupled with the knowledge given by the teachers of physics, eminent professors, that made him a scientist. He was a Padma Bhushan, Vibhushan, the second highest civilian award winner. He spoke about this. So we must look into collaboration. The future of research is multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary. So for example, a Tamil researcher working on the temple architecture based on literary evidence will hold no meaning when there is a certain element of archaeological evidence and study incorporated to it. So a Tamil literature teacher studying on classical literature must collaborate with an archaeology person. So collaboration is not only during post COVID era. Every time, anytime, collaboration is the key to excellence.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now, Vimala, do you have participants to share their feedback? One or two participants.
Sumati ma'am is here.
Before this.
Yes, sir. Sumati ma'am is here.
Please ask her to give her feedback fast. One or two participants, because it's already 5:35, 5:40 now. Secretary sir is waiting and principal sir is also waiting.
Ma'am, Sumati ma'am.
Okay.
Sumati ma'am.
Can you find out someone?
Finding, sir.
Yeah, Professor Ravichandran sir is also here, and Professor Vinay, he is also here, and he also wants to talk for a few minutes.
Okay, sir.
Can you please connect to Professor Vinay from Christ University? And
he's the right person to talk about online.
Yes.
I have been in his sessions at Christ Academy.
Yes, sir. He's online. He has been unmuted.
Professor Vinay, are you there? Okay. Can you please connect to Professor T. Ravichandran, our resource person? He is also present here.
Any one of our faculty member also.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. I will check it.
Faculty members
Professor Ravichandran, sir.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
yes,
sir.
sir.
Very
yes,
much.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Actually, I'm using another desktop where the video is not working, and simultaneously I was doing another job. But I really enjoyed listening to the entire presentation, and in fact, I sent an appreciative comment already that it was very nice that he made the entire event a kind of collaborative one by consolidating all the views before and then starting the presentation. So I have no queries. I just want to congratulate the speaker as well as the entire team. And I find this organization itself excelling in terms of collaborative competence. So,
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Anand. I come back to you now. Sumati madam is available here. Can you please connect to her and let us listen to her? Sumati ma'am.